Now let us see some of the cases when the return is treated as defective or incomplete. The first one is return has not been duly filed in the prescribed form. So we know that for various categories of assessee, there are different forms which are prescribed in which one has to file his return of income. So if you do not file your return of income in the prescribed form with all annexes, columns and statement filled in. One, if you don't file it in a prescribed form, then also it's a defective return. Two, if you file it in a prescribed form, you file in prescribed form, but annexes, columns and statements are not completely filled in, then also it's a defective return. Second condition is non-filing of certain annexure, statement or accounts that were required to be filed along with the return of income. However, given that these forms etc. can now be filed with with the electronic returns, ROI shall not be treated as defective for these reasons. However, these should be kept ready by the assessee. So earlier what used to happen was that you were required to file certain annexures, statements, etc. with your return of income. You had to file your audited balance sheets and all those things. Now today, what happens is that in most of the cases, you can file an electronic return as well. So if you file an electronic return, then where do you file these annexures, statements and accounts? So in that case, even if these are not filed with the electronic return or you don't file them physically, it's fine as long as you keep them ready for purpose of verification by the assessing officer during the assessment procedure. So on the date of filing of return of income, you should have these documents ready. Now, let's see one interesting provision. Now, Section 292B of the Income Tax Act provides that no return of income shall be treated as an invalid merely by reason of some defect, omission, or mistake in such return. So if that be the case, then how can an assessing officer treat a return under 139(9) which is not rectified as invalid? That is because if you see the definition or if you see the section, that is overriding section which overrides section 292B also. However, since section 139 overrides section 292B, if the defects are not rectified, return shall be treated as invalid. So which comes to the conclusion that if I file a defective return, that cannot be treated as invalid by the assessing officer on the face of it. He has to give me an opportunity to rectify that defect. However, if I don't rectify that defect, then by virtue of section 139(9), my return of income will become invalid.